Hi everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Mods Worth Noting. So Module 4 Autoload Trailer caught my attention, not because it's simply autoload, there's a few of those available for us at this point, but this is a smaller configuration, and that's not normally a trailer type that you see with autoload built into it. You do need the pallet autoload specialization mod along with it to make it work, but if you're looking for a smaller autoload option, this is one to look at. Expandable pastures is an interesting mod. Definitely kind of a next level choice if you like animal husbandry and like to go ahead and build things out. So you basically still pick buildings, and that will give you the sizing of the amount of animals that you're able to utilize, but then you're able to custom design your pasture by placing different size squares, rectangles, and triangles. So you can see the example here of how they went ahead and customized, using mainly, it looks like, squares and rectangles here to design the pasture, and then that allows animals to roam freely and use the full space that you have available to you that you want to create as pasture land. So from my understanding of reading it, the pasture squares give you size of how many animals can appear and roam in that space, but they do not add capacity. So don't look at these as I'm adding 25 cows when I do the 25 by 50 rectangle. It just gives you the ability to have 25 cows roaming around. So it helps you kind of decide what you want the pasture size to look like, along with the building size that you're attaching it to. Floor markings is interesting in that it just allows you to put things on pavement or in various areas that allow you to mark things for all these type of options, as you can see. So it just brings a little bit more life to your map. Another interesting mod that came across this week is addable triggers. So if you've got buildings on your farm that aren't accessible and are empty, but you'd look at them as a normal farmer and say, that'd be a perfect hayloft, or I can do this or that in there, you're now able to basically add triggers to those buildings and make them usable. And as you can see, it's going to work with all products from the base game, all grains, in these type of productions and farm options that you have. So if you're looking to do that, for example, they've got a barn here that would normally just be a static piece of real estate and you couldn't do anything with, and they put some triggers out here that suddenly make it a little more usable. So there's nothing terribly unique about Farm Shop, but the reason I'm including it is it's produced by Omatano, which is an author that I've really come to enjoy for productions and things like that. But they're just different selling locations that work across PC and console, and so let you sell your various crops. And again, just caught my eye mainly because it's cross-platform as well. So as anyone who's followed the channel and followed these mods worth noting, you'll know that productions are near and dear to my heart and things that I always look for. So here's a new one, Metal and Gem Production, that seems to have had a good amount of thought put into it. You can read through the details of what they talk about here when you take a peek at it, but basically the production line they have is you mine stones from the ground with the stone quarry production. They also let you purchase stones, so if you're bringing them in from out of town, you can go ahead and buy them as well. You haul those stones to the wash plant with rinsing with water and create pay dirt. You then process the pay dirt at the refinery into gold, silver, gems, and even diamonds. You can then sell those items directly if you want, or you can take that output and turn them into jewelry at the jewelry production facility. So definitely a concept for a role-playing idea and so forth if you wanted to get into that. So hope you enjoy this. Another really terrific production with a lot of complexity is Orchards and Greenhouses by Mr. Hector. Again, it's cross-platform, which is always wonderful. A lot of detail here that you can get into to kind of explain things, make sure that you feel it will work for you and it's interesting to you. But let's take a peek at the graphics they provide because it's the quickest way to understand what is available here. So you'd start with orchards, and as you can see, you can grow apples, pears, apricots, and plums. There's water input, but there's an interesting water dynamic here because the orchards are obviously outdoors. If it rains, you have to supply less water to the orchards because it's getting water from the rain, which is certainly an intriguing application of a production chain. You can also input fruit and vegetable fertilizer, which is something you would purchase at the store. You can also then use compost, which you can create or use from other things on your map. And there are also visual season changes in this mod as well as your orchard grows through the various seasons. You then also have advanced greenhouses that have similar type of things. Also, they'll produce organic waste output, which you can utilize and sell. And you can grow the standard tomato and lettuce as you can in the base game greenhouses and strawberries. But in addition, you get green peppers, cucumbers, onions, and watermelon. And then you can take those products and create apple or strawberry juice, create plum and apricot jam, ketchup, and pickles. And there's some compost silo capabilities. And then this gives you kind of a nice diagram of how everything's interconnected. So you've got your main inputs to begin, to your orchards and your greenhouses. Everything that we talked about gets output. You throw some sugar into some of the recipes, you'll be able to go ahead and create some things here. And then various items will help you build compost. So I think this is the symbol for the organic waste. So your organic waste from the greenhouses and from the vegetable processing plant can go in to create compost along with the other general game products that you can do that with. And as always, there's a sell point that lets you sell all these things to the folks on your map. There are two versions of this. There's also a production revamp version, so if you play with the production revamp mod as well, there's that added complexity that comes into things as well. I'm only going to put the link to the orchards and greenhouses in here at the base level, but you can easily find the other one if you're interested. And that is it for this edition of Mods Worth Noting. As always, if you've enjoyed this and haven't dropped a like, please consider doing that. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider that as well. And I will see you next time.